Max Verstappen has refused to rule out a move to Mercedes, claiming it was difficult to foresee Lewis Hamilton's decision to join Ferrari before he revealed it last month. And now even Lewis Hamilton has joined in on the conversation, stating that he could see it happen and that Toto Wolff for sure is after the three-time world champion. This all happened just days after Verstappen's father was spotted in a meeting with Toto Wolff, twice during the first Grand Prix weekend. And despite dominating last weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix to take his 45th victory in 67 races, Verstappen's future at Red Bull has been a source of great curiosity in light of the Christian Horner issue. After an inquiry into Horner's conduct was dropped last week, tensions inside Red Bull erupted when Verstappen's father Jos demanded that the team principal go, accusing Horner of playing the victim when he is the one causing the problems. With Hamilton surprising the F1 world last month by revealing his decision to join Ferrari in 2025, it has been claimed that Mercedes may take advantage of Red Bull's present turmoil by luring Verstappen away. Speaking to the media ahead of this weekend's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Verstappen stated that he is very relaxed about his future and that there is no reason to leave while Red Bull is so strong. But he cautioned that things may change rapidly, citing Hamilton's decision to quit Mercedes only months after signing a new 2-year contract with the team. Asked if he could see himself at Mercedes, "The thing is, I think no one would have ever seen that Lewis would move to Ferrari. In my life, and it's not related to F1 or whatever, it's just general life. You never know what happens or what comes to you or whatever happens around you or what might influence you. So you can never say 100% that's how it's going to be, and I approach my life like that. But I also don't think about it too much. I'm very relaxed. I'm very happy at the team. The performance is there. There's no reason to move on." When asked if he will complete his Red Bull contract, which runs until 2028, Verstappen insisted that performance will be the deciding factor. He said, "Of course, that has always been the intention of signing. That's why we signed so long to be here. And of course, it's about the performance of the car. And of course, from 2026 onwards, that is a bit of a question mark anyway with new regulations, but I knew that when I signed my contract. But I also know what they have done for me in my career. So the intention is, of course, absolutely to stay with this team because I really enjoy it and I'm also really happy within the team. And as long as we perform, there is no reason to leave." While Mercedes is clearly interested in acquiring Verstappen, it has recognized that his future will very probably be determined by selecting the best car available, which is currently owned by Red Bull Racing. But Lewis Hamilton feels Max Verstappen is one of the probable alternatives for him at Mercedes when he leaves for Ferrari next year. Hamilton will leave a spot open at Mercedes when he joins Ferrari next year, with 3-time F1 world champion Max Verstappen emerging as a possible contender as the upheaval at Red Bull continues following the conclusion of Red Bull GmbH's inquiry into team leader Christian Horner. Toto Wolff, Mercedes team manager, has fueled the flames by claiming anything is possible when it comes to recruiting Verstappen to replace Hamilton if the Dutch driver decides to leave Red Bull, while Lewis Hamilton has confirmed that his 2021 title opponent is on Wolff's wanted list. "I think my moves have shown that anything's possible," Hamilton told reporters ahead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, when asked if Verstappen might succeed him. "It's going to be a really interesting next 6 months or so. I don't have an extra scoop. I know that I'm sure Max is on the list, but I'm pretty sure he's tied up. But I couldn't see why he would leave a car that's that good." While Red Bull kept their focus on the ball and delivered a devastating one, 2 in Bahrain despite the off-track troubles, Hamilton believes the distractions will have an impact on the Red Bull personnel. "From my experience, having gone through something similar back in the day when I was at McLaren in the sense our leader was in question, they were going through a difficult time and it affected everybody," he went on to say. "So whether or not it is there, I've been in experience when I remember when we were losing Ron Dennis, former McLaren team boss, for example, and the things that Ron was going through and the steps that we had to take. It affected all of us. A leader is super important because they set the tone. They make sure the team sticks to the core values of what the sport is about and integrity. Whilst there are loads of people further down the trough who are just as important, that leader is key to the destination that you're working towards." In response to Verstappen Sr.'s comments, Hamilton expressed his thoughts on the Verstappen camp's desire for Horner's head, putting Max in a difficult situation. "I don't know the details," he said, "so I don't know what he's basing his foundations off. But at the end of the day, he's not a part of the team. He's a parent, and that's just an opinion. but it's definitely not helpful. With Mercedes and Red Bull at odds in 2021 in a highly dramatic title contest, Hamilton said he's not astonished that Verstappen and Mercedes might team together despite everything. "I wouldn't say I'm surprised, no, because he's a great driver," he went on to remark. "Even back then, I don't think Max, in that moment in Abu Dhabi 21, he did what he had to do. It's nothing on him. It was the sport that led us down. That wasn't his fault. Me in his position, I would have done exactly the same thing, so there's no issues there. If you run a team, you want to have the best driver, and you want to be the team that's got a driver that brings in the eyeballs, brings in the sponsorship, and he is one of those. So I understand it, but it wouldn't make sense, I would say, for him, but it would be interesting to see." But it hasn't just been Lewis Hamilton speculating on Verstappen joining Mercedes, as George Russell has expressed his opinion on Max Verstappen's prospective transfer to Mercedes in 2025. George Russell, who remains at Mercedes and has the team's support to take on the responsibility of running the team once Hamilton leaves, was questioned about Verstappen's possible surprise transfer to Brackley from Milton Keynes. Russell and Verstappen had a little altercation during the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend last season, so the British driver was asked how he would feel about the Dutch driver being his teammate. "As I said last week in Bahrain, this is my third season now alongside Lewis, the greatest driver of all time, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job alongside him," he remarked, adding that he isn't concerned about the three-time F1 world champion joining him. "So whoever were to line up alongside me next year or the years to come, I welcome anybody and welcome the challenge. You always want to go against the best, but ultimately for me, I just focus on myself. I believe in myself. I believe I can beat anybody on the grid. You've just got to have that mentality. Having Lewis as my benchmark for the last couple of years has been a pretty good benchmark for sure." While Verstappen to Mercedes remains an improbable prospect for the time being, Russell stated that no team on the grid would turn down the opportunity to recruit such a talent if one were interested in making the transfer. "I think any team wants to have the best driver lineup possible, and yeah, right now Max is the best driver on the grid," he said. With Toto Wolff cheekily stoking the fire by claiming anything is possible about a Verstappen swap, Russell believes the probability is more on Verstappen's side than Mercedes. "If any team had a chance to sign Max, they'd 100% be taking him," he said. "I think the question is more on the other side, on his side and Red Bull's side. Obviously there's so much going on there. We don't know what truly is going on behind closed doors, and ultimately it is none of our business right now. I guess it'd be exciting." What do you think? Could Verstappen really be on the move to Mercedes? After all, he hasn't completely shut the idea down just yet. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.